We've all seen one of these. Chances are you've had to use one. But have you ever stopped to think about what's actually happening inside this little plastic rectangle?
What the lateral flow test does, it actually detects infectious virus. So when you're secreting the virus is like a particle. We've all seen pictures of the coronavirus with these spikes sticking out. That's the whole virus. What the lateral flow test does, it detects that whole virus. And any of us who are infected will be secreting some of that virus. And if we're infectious, we'll be secreting a lot of it.
The technology used in lateral flow tests repurposes one of the body's natural defences against pathogens, antibodies.
We use antibodies all the time to detect things. We can make them ourselves from our own bodies, or we can get mice to make them for us. It's a very, 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 very common approach to detecting all sorts of things.
So how can they detect coronavirus?
So our bodies generate antibodies when we see something foreign, and we can use those antibodies to detect things. And that's exactly how the lateral flow device works. So you put your sample on, and it gets captured by a specific antibody, and that antibody tends to see one part of the virus. It's not the spike actually, it's usually the nuclear protein, and it captures it. And then the other part is like a color that comes on top of that, and that color reagent gives you the line that comes up and tells you that you've actually got an infection.
If you've seen those two red lines, the next step is to get another type of test, a PCR. So how does that one work?
The PCR test is the ultimate sensitive test. In fact, if anything, you can say it's too sensitive. The way it works is it's like a photocopy machine. So you take a sample, a swab, send it into a lab, and what the lab does is this very clever trick of PCR, polymerase chain reaction, which allows you to take a small sample and multiply up like a photocopy machine, multiple copies until the sample becomes detectable. And the problem with that is it's very, 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 very sensitive, but it detects little bits of the virus. It doesn't detect the whole virus. So if you've had a past infection and you've still got bits of the virus hanging around, not infectious virus, just bits of the viral genome, little fragments, it will detect those. So it's a very sensitive, and it is the gold standard test. But actually lateral flows used in the right way are also fantastic because they can tell you whether you're infected and whether you're infectious. And I keep coming out with this phrase of flow before you go. In other words, if you're in any doubt, you should do a lateral flow test. And to protect you and your family, friends, and everybody from getting infected,